This summer season brought with it some really good surprises, one of them being The Duke of Death and His Maid. This title with a westernized setting tells the story of Lord Buchan, or the Duke, a young man who is the oldest of 3 siblings and legit heir of the title from an aristocrat family. Sadly, when a young boy, he was cursed by a witch, making anything that he touched to die instantly. Buchan was exiled by his mother from palace and sent to live to a family village about 2 hours away. Under his services, there is only a butler and a beautiful maid. The whole premise seems like an intense drama, and it does have some, but it plays out like a beautiful romantic story with glimpses of lighthearted humor, which is kind of a letdown for me because I do like intense psychological dark stories, and this particular premise had the potential of becoming one of them, but it's not. Again, as I said, it does have its drama, but all the rejection and loneliness we experience is told from a lighthearted perspective. I am going to be straightforward here. I love this story. The whole 12 episodes are exceptionally well made and very well structured. Characters are allowed to breathe and develop, motivations and backgrounds are told in the exact moment they should be told without breaking the pacing of the story. It is also full of likable characters, very funny and interesting ones. Nothing happens for no reason in this presentation. The story is divided in 2 parts. The first one, the first half of the season, when we are introduced to the characters and the setting. The director is making us understand very early that this is a romantic story between the Duke and his maid, and that is the story we're going to experience. The second part of the story intensifies a little bit, because now the main characters are looking for a way to lift the curse. The relationship between Alice and the Duke is very sweet and romantic. They both have feelings for each other and are tormented by this heartless curse in which they cannot touch one another. Duke is reserved and timid. He had to grow up as a castaway. People fear him because one insignificant touch means instant death. His loneliness could have drove him insane and deep into a depression. But Alice does not fear him. She cares and never quits on him, giving him not only a reason to live, but also to lift the curse and finally be together. She uses several joyful and playful methods to tease him, to push him forward. Some of those methods are a little bit spicy and unexpected, that may seem tasteless for some viewers. I myself found them hilarious because of that, they come unexpectedly. Then we have a very strong supporting cast. Kaf and Zayn, 2 witches that likes him as a decent human being and befriends him to help him find a way to lift the curse. Both of them are really funny. Kaf is the tsundere type that shows no feelings but always tries to keep Zayn happy, and then Zayn is more easygoing and relaxed. Not to mention a ladies' man, as he is always wooing Alice's physique, let's say. Rob is his loyal butler, been with the family for years. It's mostly used as a comedic character, as that one of an old man with old man habits and limitations. And then his sister Viola, who cares about his brother and looks on him a way to escape from her authoritarian mother. All of the supporting characters add to the story and never steal the spotlight from the main characters, as it should be. They are also very fun to watch. Now let's address the big elephant in the room, and that is the animation. Because this presentation is mostly CG, so if you just straightforward hate any form of CG animation, then this story is not meant for you. I myself had no issues with the animation for about 80% of the story, because the story itself is so strong and interesting that I barely noticed the CG. It's not pristine CG, I mean you can tell it's not 2D, but it's carefully done, and the backgrounds are traditional 2D, with canvas textures that looks like a beautiful painting. I know that mixing 2 different styles of animation usually doesn't work, and some people call it outrageous, but I do like when presentations take the risks. Sometimes they fail miserably, but others, they create something different and unique, and in my opinion this is the perfect example. It is true that it seems we are still a bit away from portraying characters' feelings and emotions in their reactions on CG. Sometimes Alice's face did pull me out of a moment that should have been a passionate romantic one. And Viola's face constantly reminded me that this is all CG. It could have been better, but I bear with it. Again, because the rest of the presentation is so strong that once I was into the story, I stopped noticing it. The sound is great. Aketagawa did pull off a feeling of solitude, darkness, and romance with this mix. It's not as good as his work with 86, but it's pretty close. The Duke plays piano quite considerably. This adds to his personality, and when Alice witnesses his playing, it's a delight to see and hear. Regarding the OP and ED are beautiful pieces, as both songs are sung by the main characters' voices. The OP tells us about the Duke and Alice's passionate relationship, and it comes with an animation that portrays exactly the curse that torments them and keeps them away from consuming the relationship, but in a happy, playful tone. The ED is sung only by Alice, and is a love letter to the Duke expressing her feelings. It is more serious tone and is a beautiful song. The two songs together set perfectly the feeling of this story. The Duke of Death and His Maid is a story that had the potential of becoming a dark tone and serious one, but instead we were delivered a light-hearted romantic one, full of lovable characters, solid plot, and great OST. Being its major downside is the animation. That is why for me it's an 8 out of 10. With its second season currently under production, I am sure that we don't have to wait long to see where this story goes next. So, what do you think? Did the Duke leave an impression on you, or did the beautiful Alice instead? Let me know in the comment section down below. Guys, thank you all so much for watching. Like the video if you did. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Join the Discord for free. The link is in the description section down below. And as always, I wish you all a wonderful day.